Okay, I can read this thing about fear. Having fun with fear. Okay, fear, of course, is the result of the great snow job we've all had dumped on us. Fear is what happens when we can't see our own wholeness. It is inseparable from separateness. More than anything else, fear holds us back from knowing ourselves and is thus the Gestapo of consciousness, the internal secret police force that tries to keep us locked up in the concentration camp of our minds. It is a conditioned response to dualistic thinking and comes in just two main forms, both displaced in time. Fear of the future appears in the present as anxiety, the most feared fear of all because it has no real object whatsoever, a pure fantasy of the unknown. Fear of the past appears in the present as guilt over something you've done or as resentment of something done to you. Fear of the present is a special case because, ironically enough, it does not exist. The present moment is the cosmic intersection of the past and the future, both of which we constantly try to shape and control with our dualistic minds. But the present is forever beyond our control. It is always totally real because it is always the sum product of all energies interacting. We cannot experience fear of the present because our minds cannot grasp it. It is too instantaneous, making all illusions and control trips impossible. It forces us to be intuitive and holistic, and is thus the one point in all our existence where we are free from the illusion of fear. Of course, real danger in the present can cause fright or startling, but this is not the same as fear, which always involves a time displacement into past or future. This freedom from fear in the present is the escape tunnel from the mental concentration camp. No matter what you fear, you can face it and conquer it if you do it in the present. In my own case, I first learned from rock climbing, a pursuit which always terrified me until I began to do it. Rock climbing was my first programmed instruction in fear killing because I chose to do something I chose to do in part because I was afraid to. Discovering that I could conquer fear by living in the present was a personal breakthrough that changed my life. Even in the midst of situations I had feared in prospect or trembled over in retrospect, there was no fear at the time. Often the demands of the climbing situation created intense involvement, but I was never, well, almost never, paralyzed by inability to act. Never permitted to indulge in time-displaced illusions because I was too much into the total realness of right now. There were numerous personal crises that tested me to my limits. Times I was trapped on airy, rocky ledges, times I slipped and was caught by the rope, and one time when the rope parted on rappel and I fell to certain death, more or less. What I gained from rock climbing was the wonderful exhilaration of stopping fear, of releasing the energy trapped in the illusion, the sense of total connection with my world. There were moments when the whole expanse of the universe compressed into a tiny sliver of rock joined to my fingertips, and my concentration upon this nubbin literally burned away all other realities, all fears, all ego, all illusion. There was just me and the world, right now, not separate, not hostile, not afraid, just me and the granite dancing as one thing, with no thought of past or future, no fear at all, no fucking dualities. Living in the present moment is to be new always, reborn endlessly. It is to recapture the innocence and trust of childhood, of a time before the phantoms of past and future weighed us down with anxiety, guilt, and resentment. We were all born without fear, with no thought of life as a hostile experience. We intuitively knew we belonged here in this world, with no need to fear anything in it. Fear was something relentlessly taught us by our parents and our society, a years-long indoctrination process, because children naturally resist their chains as long as possible, finally relenting only in order to survive in our culture. It takes fully 2 to 3 decades on the average to be totally brainwashed, to slip into one-way ruts greased with fear. How can you get free of fear? It's not so difficult as you may think. You can convert fear into fun, starting here and now, starting with anything you're afraid of. Fear is destroyed by doing what you are afraid of doing. As a cosmic energy transformer functioning in all planes of existence at each moment, you are totally equipped to handle this trip, if you understand how fear conditioning works. Whatever you fear to do is always based on tomorrow or next week or next year, and is definitely frightening when cast in that form. But when tomorrow comes, and you stand in what then is the present, its magic will automatically dispel all fear, and you will deal with whatever is there in the same way you deal with every present moment, with total involvement and full power. This is the secret of the motto, "Be here now." To vagabond is to put this secret into practice. According to D.H. Lawrence, one realm we have never conquered, the pure present. One great mystery of time is terra incognita to us, the instant. The most superb mystery we have hardly recognized, the immediate instant self, the quick of all the universe, of all creation, is the incarnate carnal self, unquote. It's no accident that travel is associated with most spiritual avatars and gurus. For example, Moses, Jesus, Mohammed, and Buddha all went vagabonding at crucial periods of their lives in order to face their doubts away from their everyday realities. All of them had to trash their illusions and vanquish their worldly anxieties before they could get as high as they did. Their vagabond journeys are metaphors for our own paths to freedom from fear. I'm more atavist than avatar, but like these sterling gents, I became a vagabond at a crucial time in my life when I realized I was afraid to become one. If I hadn't focused on the fear, I might have lacked the motivation to overcome it. Thus, fear represents a positive repository of energy, an untapped storehouse where vast potentials for personal change and better living are locked up unless you find the key. If you lack luster in your life or feel like the magic is passing you by, then take inventory of your fears, good buddy. Fear is your most valuable wasted energy resource. Overcoming fear need not be a gritty and agonizing task. It can be the most fun you ever had.